I'm trying to build some suspense here. Over 20 years ago, FIRST was founded. Many of you are new teams, and the history of FIRST gets diluted a little bit because as we grow, and FIRST grows at an exponential rate, as FIRST grows, we get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's harder to reach the whole community, especially for some of the people who were there at the beginning. At the very beginning were two men, Dean Kamen and Woody Flowers. They had this idea to get kids interested in engineering and in science, make it cool. Our next speaker is really the captain of cool. He was there at the beginning. The award is named after him. He is the first national advisor, the coolest dude on the planet, baby, the father of gracious professionalism. Please welcome Woody Flowers!
Thank you. You guys rock. Thank you. We got a lot to do today. Sit down and listen to it. I walked around in the pits this morning and looked at the robots. You folks have done some very impressive stuff. Like the mayor, Tim, I was blown away. But I want to make sure that you understand that I don't think you're smart. Now, you folks are sophisticated enough that in your lifetime you will participate in metacognition, which is essentially thinking about the way you think. And experimental psychologists are really peeling that onion, and it's exciting to get to the point where you kind of understand some things about how your brain works. One of the experiments that's really important, that's reviewed again in the current book by Paul Tough entitled How Children Succeed, which I'm most of the way through and will finish on the airplane going home, is work that in two control groups, one group of young people were given a set of problems, they did them, and they were told that they did well because they were smart. Another group was given a set of problems and they were told that they did well because they worked hard. It's not robot science to figure out. The guys that thought they did well because they were smart became less creative and afraid to take chances. Because if you think you can do things because you're smart, you never want to find the edge of smart. So you got to kind of stay away and try to stay within your enclosed space. But if you think you did well because you worked hard, you're in an unbounded space. You're in a space that allows you to think creatively. If you leave today with nothing other than this, remember, you in your career and your life better be in an unbounded space, because the world is a much more complex and competitive place. And in order to do well, you can't sit back on your laurels because you think you're smart. It is very clear that through participating in FRC this year, you have been living in an unbounded space. Angela Duckworth is a researcher who's done some fabulous stuff trying to understand what's really important to success. And she's the person who has settled on this term grit, which is the condensation of some of the features of character, our commitment, our resilience, our determinateness. You cannot take a time too short, a budget too small, a task too large, and a team too large, in most cases, and create a 130-pound, multiple kilowatt, multiple degree of freedom, fantastic robot that can throw frisbees and climb towers. So you've done something that is on the edge of impossible. You didn't do that because you thought you were smart. You did it as a prerequisite to, for example, getting into college. College admissions officers all over the country have started to recognize that IQ tests and SAT scores are probably not good predictors of what's going to happen in people's career. You probably ought to be looking for another kind of stuff. And former student of mine is Dean of Admissions at MIT. He believes it. Last year, 10% of the freshman class at MIT were first alumni. So please hear me that you are doing the stuff that you need to do to not only do well in education, but you're doing true education. Unfortunately, most of what we do in school is still training. It is consuming codified information. That's really important. You have to do it, but it is not enough. The stuff that goes on top of that is far more important, and that's what you've been doing. So I believe, in particular, if you continue to practice gracious professionalism, you've upped your chances of doing all the things that you might want to do in your life. So I'll close before we get to celebrating some people that help you along that path by saying that while you're here, exceed your own expectations about what you're going to do to exemplify gracious professionalism. Do one thing that kind of blows your own mind with regard to helping somebody else. Regardless of what happens on the field and in the award ceremony, if you do that, I guarantee you, you get to go home feeling good about yourself. That's nice stuff to go for. So now let's switch and celebrate some of the people that are helping you do that. It's a great deal of pleasure that I introduce John Novak, who's is a National Woody Farms Award winner, going to help with the deputy.
Thanks, guys. Let me bring out some of the former WFFA year